Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Self-love through freedom and connection. So feel free to connect to the Brave Never Fall on these social media platforms. If you find anything of value in this following podcast, hit that like button, subscribe and share, and support the Brave and Bold tribe, growing one purposeful soul at a time. There are no coincidences in life. The strength you have is real. Each breath you take is a blessing. Don't give up, give more. Believe in yourself and trust yourself. How are you feeling? Take a moment to do a self-check-in for yourself. How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling spiritually? Are you feeling balanced? Are you still journeying on an intentional, purposeful path? How are you feeling? Balancing yourself is a healthy daily practice that will reliably keep you in harmony with your entire mind, body, heart, and soul. Clear your mind. Take a moment of silence for yourself right now in the moment. You are here now. How are you feeling? Independence forces us to gain complete control and balance over our lives. This is true from the moment you are conceived. You are an individual, yet you are connected to someone who is nurturing you. This is a concept that will play out through our entire lives, from birth to death. We go through cycles of being independent, yet connected to people. That independence also stretches out to places and things. We get attached, we get detached, back and forth, ebb and flow, night and day. It's all about balance. And it all starts with independence, because independence is also individuality. It's us doing what we need to do first for ourselves. Taking responsibility, all those things starts with us first. Then the connection happens. In order to be connected, one or more things have to show up and unite. They contribute energy to each other in some form or fashion. Which means if there's energy, there has to be power. It has to be something behind the force of the connection. So you have a tremendously big responsibility to put forth as much effort and energy as possible when you expect to be connected with someone else. And that starts with your own energy output, who you are, your independence. If you don't feel free, you're not going to want to be connected to anyone else. And have you ever been connected to someone who doesn't feel free? It's not a great feeling. We never want to be the weak link. We never want to be the smallest output of energy when we're involved with someone else. So it always comes back to us. What about us? What are we doing as individuals? Are we balanced? Those are questions only we as individuals can answer. Independence, not subject to control by others. Self-governing, not requiring or relying on something or someone else. These are attributes, and these attributes does not mean we have to be alone, although that is our birthright to do so if we wish. What we gain on our own strengthens when we share with others. Essentially, it is the balance of being free, yet connected to whatever or whoever we are aligned with. Accomplishing something without the aid of another is empowering, especially if we have the option to have help. It's reassuring to feel confident enough to take on a task alone, yet know you are not too egotistic to ask for aid when you need it. However, the timing of when you ask is extremely important. Ask too early, and you're not truly independent. Ask too late, and you're not truly connected. It's all about the balance, awareness, and timing. It's natural to feel comforted whenever we have help. A kind soul to rely on, an ally to aid us. We were all born that way, 9 months comforted by our mother's womb. Only natural we still have that comfort laced within our DNA. There's a reason why most of us sleep and relax in the fetal position. Just like any other animal on this planet, eventually we have to cut the cord and find our own way, even if we are still connected to others. It's our responsibility, our birthright to do so. It's all about our own unique individual lives. We must strengthen ourselves with morals, civility, empathy, and understanding. We must gain as much knowledge about ourselves as possible to be our own universities, our own farmers, our own politics, our own gym, our own entertainment. This isn't selfishness or narcissism. This is self-love, self-worth, self-empowerment. This is our lives. We need to play our part powerfully if we expect to be connected to others with self-worth, self-love, influence, and power that we have within our own bodies. Cincinnatus, Episode 2, Independence. When I think of independence, I think of dynamics. There's extremes. There's never, ever, if you look at any word in the English dictionary or whatever country you come from, whatever dialect you speak, there's the word and then there's the interpretation of the word, subjective, objective ways of looking at anything. So when we have a word like independence, it could just mean one thing to you, and it could just mean something to someone else. It could be very minimum based, independence, freedom, independence, being able to go through life void of any interaction with anyone else. You think of someone who, and I go to this example a lot, someone who is completely isolated in Antarctica. They're independent. There's another word you can put with that. They're also alone. But we see people all the time who are quote unquote independent, and they're surrounded by all types of people. They have a network of people. They have a big family. They have friends. They have children, grandchildren. They're involved in charities. They go to church. I mean, they're surrounded by people all the time. But people would say about this person is very independent. You look at introverts and extroverts. Take the word independent and put it on an introvert, and you have someone who, we're talking very general terms here. Obviously, none of this stuff is clinical terms, but in general terms, an introvert, an independent introvert, quote unquote, you tend, if someone were just to tell you about this person, regardless if you know of a person like this or not, if someone was to tell you about this person, you would think this person's quiet, they're by themselves, they tend to want to do things alone, they don't have a lot of people around them, and they choose to be that way. They're independently on their own by choice. You take the word independent and you put it on extrovert, and now you have a person who is the complete opposite. These people are surrounded by people like the person I was just talking about. They're surrounded by all types of people, networking, and they got friends and family. And their whole life seems like it's built around knowing people, yet people would classify them as independent because they gained all of their success and all the things that we admire about them with minimum amount of help from people around them. And they chose to do that. They chose to go the path of, I want to see how much I can accomplish in life with as little as help as possible. With the introvert, the independent, quote unquote, independent introvert is saying the exact same thing minus all the interaction. You take the interaction away, aren't these two people pretty much the exact same person? The only thing that they're choosing to do is limit or excel in their amount of interaction with people, places, and things. And or give credit to these people, places, and things in terms of their success or lack thereof. Life is always about balance. And having independence, to me, I've lived both sides of that spectrum. I am neither an extrovert or an introvert. I am about as down the middle in the gray area of those two dynamics as you can possibly get. I know when I need to be introverted, when it's going to be a strength for me, and being extroverted, I know when that's a strength for me. And I naturally fluctuate in between those two things because I have seen the best and worst of both scenarios when I tend to lean too far to one side of those things without balancing it out. When I choose to go into being in a place where I want to be alone, which I have done, and it's worked for me. After I had a divorce and I had my awakening and I realized I wanted more for my life and I wanted to change almost literally everything about my life, I knew the only way I was going to get there is that I had to have every person, place, or thing that was currently in my life go away if I could. Outside of the things that are priorities. I can't make my car go away. I can't make my job go away. I could change some things here and there. I could change my vehicle, but it's still a vehicle. I could change my job, but it's still a job. I can't change my son. I can't change his mother. I can't change my family members. There are certain people that you're going to have to interact with, but I always have a choice on how much I want to interact with any of them. I mean, you look at a lot of deadbeat dads out there who choose not to interact with their kids. Me interacting with my kid at the highest level possible, knowing that I don't have the time to see him as much as I used to now that I'm not around him every single day as I once was when I was married. It's still a choice of how much interaction I want to have with my own son. And these are things that in life, independence can gain you strength. And I knew if I could just be alone for 1 year straight, leave the partying behind, leave all the bad memories behind, all the bad interactions I had, actively work towards getting a new job, actively work towards getting a new vehicle, actively work towards getting better health, actually work towards getting better mental wellness, restructuring the blueprint of my life. And I did so one day at a time for a full year, not thinking that that was going to be end. There is no end. That was just the beginning. But I knew if I could do this for a whole year, that is something I've never done my entire life, is do something completely on my own with as minimum amount of help as possible. And in that year, yes, I was a severe introvert. I cut everyone off. I jettisoned any toxic person in my life. It taught me one of two things. It taught me, one, that I can do what I thought I couldn't do alone. It made me realize that I did needed some spiritual foundation, and that's when I found for my personal self. I don't advocate my religion on anyone, by the way. For me, I follow Tao, and it helped me. I found that I love to run. It helped me. I found that I love to eat mostly vegetarian. It helped me. I found out that I had a thirst for knowledge that was deeper than I even realized. It helped me. I found it out that being around positive people helps. I found out a lot of things about myself, but I had to do it alone. It's one of the reasons why I love running marathons, is because you're around other people, but when you're training for it, you're usually going to be by yourself or a small group of people. All the work has to be done on you to get the results on race day. And that was extremely important. And a lot of these things that I found out about myself when I was alone, I knew after that first year, I'm a better person. I'm not anywhere near complete. I just had my awakening and I'm feeling like I'm on the right path. But then something else clicked in. And that's the second thing. What is the point of all this if I'm going to act like I don't need people, though? Because we do need people. And some may say, well, coach, that's not true. I do everything alone. If you lived in Antarctica by yourself, completely alone, unless you went out there butt ass naked and stood in the middle of nowhere, you needed the people to manufacture your clothes and your equipment to do what you say you're doing alone. So technically you had help even doing that. We're never alone. We're never alone. Unless there's some post-apocalyptic world that you suddenly wake up in where the world went to shit overnight, you are not alone. Unless you grow your own food and you build your own house, you make your own clothes. And there are people in this world who do this. But the majority of us living in the United States, living in civilized countries, I say civilized, quote unquote, civilized meaning that's what we call ourselves. We have infrastructure, we have cities, we have commerce. We're civilized, right? Quote unquote. Civilized is what you believe it is. But when you're dealing with true independence, the people who really are truly independent in every sense of the word, when they have absolutely no one and they want help and they can't have it, that's completely different than being independent like I was and choosing to do as little as possible. But I was only hitting surface level, right? I was never really alone. I was alone in the context of what I made it. I was alone because I was no longer with my wife and my son. I was alone because I jettisoned all my toxic family members and friends. I was alone because everything responsible in my life now that had to do with me, I'm fully only responsible for. Well, before I didn't have that. When I was in college, I still had my mom. When I got married, I had my wife, but this was the first time I'm completely by myself and I have responsibilities and I can't fuck this up. So what happens then? Then, okay, you do what has to be done. Let's take it a step further. Being independent is one thing. Let's say you want to press the issue there. Not only do you want to be independent, but you want to become a better person independently. Can you do that alone? I wouldn't recommend it. I think me hiring a coach, me surrounding myself with people who are coaches and people who are successful financially and in their marriages, spiritually, they're all solid people. I'm learning from them, but I'm not necessarily interacting with them all that much either. So you could look at it like, hey, I'm alone, but I'm looking through a window at things that I'm learning from. You're independently learning how to become a better person, but that doesn't mean you're completely alone either. Independence is, when you think about it, it's such a great concept and unique to a human being. But at the same time, when you look at it outside in the animal kingdom, they're all doing exactly what I'm talking about here. You look at the birds that fly in the sky, there's always one that's just always by itself trailing. They're with the flock, but if you look at just the right time, they look completely alone. And you can look at that in anywhere. You see a bug. Oh, look at that little poor bug. But you're not looking, if you look 5 feet to the right, there's 50, 60, 100 more of them. And you're feeling sorry for this little freaking bug. The point is that independence leaves you free, but you are also free to connect with who, what, and where you want as a human being. More so than that poor little bug that you were feeling sorry for. But I think the real question is, what are you going to do with your independence? Are you going to be the type of person that is completely alone and is satisfied and being comfortable with who you are, no matter what? Or are you satisfied with always pushing the boundary and getting to a place that you never thought you could be? We are responsible for our outcomes, regardless of who's helping us or how much we did on our own. We can pat ourselves on the back and say we became successful alone. But you didn't. Technically, you had help. And again, unless you're butt-ass naked in Antarctica, whatever you did to become successful, even the person who brings you coffee into your office every morning is helping you. It's how you look at it. Again, subjective and objective. But it's how you look at it. You may be in your office alone, feeling like there's no one there to help you. But you have help everywhere. You have help everywhere. Think about this. Sometimes people are helping you by not helping you. We get down on ourselves. I don't have any help. I wish I had more help. I wish I had more of this. I wish I had more of that. I say it all the time. You can wish, want, hope, and pray all you want, but you still have to do your part and do something actively. In any situation, regardless if you're alone or you're with 100 people, you always have to do your part. That is your responsibility. That is your birthright to do your part. The best you believe fits within alignment in your blueprint of life. Not what others tell you that you should be doing, what you know you should be doing. Are you trusting yourself enough to even know what that is? That is something I struggle with big time. Trusting myself to even know what I should be more independent on and what I should be more asking for more help on. It's easy to feel sorry for yourself. It's easy to look out the window and see other people doing stuff that you wish you could do, but you're not doing it because you feel, if only I had more help. You know, when I had my awakening, it wouldn't have happened if I had everybody helping me all the time. It's when I started feeling like I was completely alone anyway, even though I was surrounded by people, is when I woke up. It's when I woke up. It's when I realized I was surrounded by people, but they weren't the right people. I was surrounded by things, but they weren't the right things. I was in places, but they were not the right places. They weren't helping me do shit. And I felt like if I'm going to be living my life and all these things and these people and these places around me and they're not helping me do anything, what's stopping me from doing stuff on my own and realigning myself with things that benefit the new person I'm going to become? Because people want to tell you, you can't change. Bullshit. Yes, you can. They want to tell you that because it's not easy to change. If things were easy to change, people would be changing shit all the time. People would be changing everything about themselves practically every single day, as if you were some kind of a, some kind of a character in a video game where you can just go into the options, select your new outfit, change your hair, change all your tattoos, do whatever you want, change your job, do whatever you want. I don't like that. Not related, you change it all again. If people, there are a lot of people out there, if they can have it that way, that's who they would be. You'd be virtually unrecognizable if that was the case. Nobody would know who the hell you were if you changed that much. There has to be some level of consistency, good or bad with you, for you to even be who you are. Otherwise, who are you? There's no justification for that unless you have split personalities. In general, we are who we are for long stretches of time, and things gradually change. When there are abrupt changes that are needed as well, those are the life-changing ones. Because hey, I got to change right now. I don't have time to wait for this to gradually go one way or the other, because I'm wasting too much of my life. And that's a big part of it. How much are you wasting by being too independent or too connected? Again, these are extremes. These are all extremes. I always look at these things like this. You have to frame them in not even so much energy, that's probably the wrong word. What positive outcomes, are you getting from being too independent or too connected? Because I know for me, my outcomes with being overly connected with the wrong types of people were a detriment, where other people were praising me for it. Look how popular he is. Look at all the people he knows. He's doing this. He's doing that. I was a musician. Got a lot of attention. I was a very good jazz trumpet player. I still am. The difference is that it doesn't define me as it did back then. People didn't see me as Michael. They looked at me as the trumpet guy. The guy who has the band, writes the music, goes to the shows. That was who I was for a very long time. And I liked it. And looking back on it, I realized there was a big, important problem there. What was lost in there was who I really was. It was an act. The trumpet was me. The playing was me. All that was me. But all the attention, all of the money and the girls and all the shows and all that, that really wasn't me. And I didn't know what to do with it, because I look back at it now and it's just an awkward time in my life, because I would be exhausted from acting. I was a musician. I wasn't that type of musician. Again, these are degrees here. I was a jazz musician. I wasn't a freaking rock star. But in my mind and everyone around me, in my little small world that I lived in back then, because when you're young and you're in your 20s, everything seems bigger. In my little small world, I was amazing. I wasn't shit. I thought I was amazing. And it took me stepping back out of that and being like, you're not who you think you are, bro. And there are other people who are doing far better than you who are not like you. Those are wake-up calls. Again, those are changes that happen abruptly, and you're better off for it. Again, change is hard. Who wants to change who they are abruptly? Because it's hard on everyone. Why? Because we have to adjust to it. If somebody walks up to you and says, hey, I know you've been doing this one thing for the last 5 years, but at this very second, you are going to change it to this right now, and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. Who likes to hear that? Regardless if it's better or worse. You don't want to hear that because you haven't prepared for it. We need to prepare, right? We're human beings. Everything is about preparation. We believe we like surprises until they're the wrong surprises. And then we're alerted. Now all of a sudden the caution sounds go up. Whoa! You got bad news? Slow down, champ. Slow down. What's the good news first? You got to get warmed up to the bad news. As human beings, we fundamentally don't like change. Why do you think babies cry? You go up to a baby who's calm and you slap your hands real loud, all of a sudden the sound changes, it alarms them. They start to cry. You walk up to any person on the street and just walk up and just do something crazy in front of them, you change their state, it's too abrupt, they get pissed off. As human beings, we inherently don't like surprises. You have people that say that I love surprises. No, you don't. You like them. You like the good surprises. What about the bad ones? I don't think anybody likes to be in a car accident. That's a surprise. A death in the family is a surprise. Do we like these things? No, we always want the other end. We always want the good stuff. We have to accept that in life, the good surprises aren't always going to be there. And that's when we have to step back and say, okay, am I capable of handling things on my own? When the shit gets serious and it's time for you to act on your own, can you do it? When all the connections fail, when all the places don't work for you anymore, when all the material things don't mean squat, when it's just you, then you have to deal with yourself. Are you able to do it? Independence is incredibly important. It gives us structure. It gives us boundaries. It gives us an opportunity to grow within ourselves at our own pace, without judgment from other people, without ridicule from other people. We can mess up. We can fail. We can succeed. We can grow. All in the confines of our own minds, hearts, body, and soul. We don't need, we're not media posts. We don't need a thumbs up. We don't need a like. We don't need a share. What we need is to recognize who we are and be aware of it and know when to change it and how to change it. Should it be an abrupt change or should it be a gradual, slow, organic change? You don't know that unless you know yourself. Being connected to too many people is a distraction, but it's also a very good way of learning more about yourself. If you are, again, aligned with people in your life that you're connected to that are aligned with almost every good thing about yourself, even if you don't even understand what it is, these people will help you grow. This is why people hire coaches. This is why people hire mentors. This is why people look to the elder statesmen in their family and their friends and their co-workers, because these people can guide you, but they're not trying to tether themselves to you. They still are going to allow you to mess up when you need to mess up. They're going to tell you what you need to hear when you need to hear it. They're going to back away when they say, listen, you have to do this alone. They know when you need to go through a trial by fire. But they're also not going to allow you to become a utopian tree sitting on a hill by yourself so someone can come down and cut you down and burn you up later. These people aren't going to jettison you when you're at your weakest moment and you failed just because they can't milk any more out of you. These are the people you want in your life. If you're going to be connected, these are the people you want in your life. People who are going to treat you as you treat them. This is what we want in life. This is what we deserve in life. If you go back to our birthright, this is what we deserve. We deserve the opportunity to say, I want to do this alone and I'll ask for help when I need it. And you deserve the opportunity to say, hey, I need all the help I can get, and when I don't need it, I'll let you guys know. It's nice having these options. It's nice having our own timelines. These are things that make us individuals, that make us unique. These are things that are too often not talked about in today's society, where everything's about social media. Everything's so connected that it's almost impossible to be one way or the other, or right down the middle, because either you don't exist on the internet or everybody loves you. And if you're in between, people are like, you are a failure. How? Because you know yourself? Because you're committed to your personal journey? Because you can give a shit less about what everybody else is on the internet is doing, and you care about who's actually in your world, who are influencing you, your family members, your co-workers, your friends, your churchgoers, all these people in your life who actually mean something to you. guess what? Being independent with them, you guys are your own little subculture. You guys are your own little country. Why do I say that? Because there are countries that says we're independent. We don't want to be part of the rest of the world. A group of people are saying they're independent. There's always growth. There's always more. It's not just about us. You could be independent by yourself and independent in a group of people that are independent from another group of people. There are always levels. There are always degrees. But if you shrink it all the way down, which we always do in the Brave, we always bring it back down to the individual, and that is you. What part are you playing in your own life? Because that is what dictates when you are connected. Inevitably, when you are connected to other people, what are you bringing to the table? What are these people going to get from you? If you're in a relationship, we always focus on, I want this from this person. I want this from this person. I want this from this person. What are you bringing to the table? What do you have to offer another person? That is not material. That is not a place. That doesn't count. You as a person. If there was nothing left in your life but you, what do you have to offer another person if you're in a relationship? Any relationship. You have to think about these things. What do you have to offer? We so often, if you ask someone, what do you have to offer in life? Well, I have this and I've been here. No. I said, what do you have to offer? You. Not the clothes on your back, the money in your wallet, not your vehicle, not your house, not your job, not your vacations. You. If you were stripped of nothing, independently, what do you have to offer? That is the question I asked myself in that year when I went to work on myself inside and out. What do you have to offer this world other than your talents and your things that I thought I was talented with? And this all leads up to, what is your purpose? Who are you? What do you have to contribute to yourself, let alone anyone else? What is it that's going to make you wake up every day and say, I have something to offer this world? When someone speaks to me, they're going to get something positive. They're going to have a positive reaction. When I help, my presence is going to be felt. When I go to work, I'm going to be the best worker I could possibly be. They're going to know that I was there that day. When I'm in my relationship, they're going to know that I love them. They're going to know that I have something to offer more than the clothes on my back, the money in my wallet, my car, my house. They're forever going to want me because I've done the work on myself and I have something to offer. And if I can do it alone, I sure as hell can do it with people. That's independence. Self-worth, self-love, accountability, ownership, respecting yourself inside and out, and knowing that, yes, you are strong enough to do it alone. And yes, you are also strong enough to ask for help when you need it. And they'll come because they'll respect you. And one final thought. Just because you are you doesn't mean you have to be hard on yourself and believe that you are supposed to be like everyone else around you. Embrace who you are. Accept the fact that you are independent. But look at the benefit of having the right people around you. Because that's the way you're really, truly going to grow in life. Pledge with me. I am the strongest person I know. I am alive for a reason. I pledge to stand on my values. I pledge to set and reinforce healthy boundaries. I pledge to keep pushing forward. I am not a victim. I am not without purpose. I pledge to continue to create the life I want. I pledge to grow beyond my current self. I pledge to commit to myself unconditionally, because I am the strongest person I know. I will always be the strongest person I know. I pledge to continue to create, and if need be, recreate the blueprint of my life. I pledge to accept and face any challenge and obstacle that comes my way, because I am the strongest person I know. I pledge I will remain who I am, here and now, and going forward, because I am the strongest person I know. This is your day. You are here now. These are your moments. You own them. You are brave, bold, powerful. You do believe in yourself. You know you have more in the tank. You know the glass is half full. There's still more room for improvement. There is no end. Believe, believe, believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Trust that you can do whatever it takes to accomplish whatever you want from life. You don't procrastinate. You don't embellish. You don't lie. You are true to yourself always. Knowledge is in your mind. Peace is in your heart. Balance is in your body. Purpose is in your soul. You are greatness. The sky is not the limit. You have purpose, fulfilling, intentful purpose. You are here for a reason. You are unique. You are self-love, self-discipline, self-respect, self-control. You have self-awareness. You are joy, peace, and happiness. You are freedom, and yet connected to every person, place, and thing in the universe. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Learn, laugh, and level up.